So, second video. Just as a disclaimer, I don't think I can do a whole 10-minute video because I've done it like 5 times already and it never saved. So I've done this story 5 times for 10 minutes and it never saved. So I'm going to do maybe 4 minutes and see if that works. Here we go. How I escaped the gypsies, part 2. So it's 1992. I'm finding out that I'm having a baby and I have to leave, but I have to give you the backstory to understand how I got where I'm at in 92. So my father and my mother, my biological mother, split up when I was 2 years old. So I had just my father, even though he was married. From me being the age of 3 to 12, my stepmother was very abusive. And so I wouldn't have considered her someone that I could rely on or trust or feel safe with. So just my dad. My dad was my everything. So when he divorced my stepmother, I was 12. And when they divorced, we went to go live with family. My dad's aunt, my dad's uncle. Not like my dad's aunt and her husband and then his uncle and his wife. We would go back and forth to their houses, and they were very bad to us. The kids were bad. My cousins were bad to me. They treated me like an outsider. They treated me like I was less than, like I was second class, and I could never figure out why they treated me that way. They were good to each other, but they were never good to me. And then the adults were treating my dad really bad, and I didn't understand what was going on. I mean, he had just gotten divorced. He's sick with heart problems. I'm a kid, and they're treating us like we're criminals. It was really bad. So we are living with them, gosh, from the age of, I was 12 to the age of 15. We're going back and forth, living with uncle or aunt, or uncle or aunt, or uncle or aunt. And then finally my aunt, or my dad's aunt, says, we're moving from Oxnard, California to Garden Grove. Let's go live over there. And there's a little house in the back, like this one-room studio where you and Gina can live in. You know, my aunt is telling my dad this, and you guys can stay back there. You give me all of your SSI check, and I'll buy your food and all of the things that you guys need, and you guys will be fine. My dad says, okay, we'll do that. So we go to Garden Grove. We live with her. And the first couple of months were okay, but after like 2 or 3 months, my aunt stopped calling us to eat, stopped helping us buy the things that we need, shampoo, toilet paper, to wash. I couldn't use the laundry to wash the clothes. Like, it was getting bad. She started to neglect us again, and we're in this little house. But she was collecting my father's check. And there was nothing much I could do because I'm just a kid. And my father was not one to argue and be disrespectful to his aunt. So we were kind of stuck there. By the time I hit 15 years old, my dad somehow had some money. I don't know if he sold something. I don't know if SSI gave him, like Social Security gave him extra money. Maybe they owed him money or something. But we had a couple of $1,000s, and we waited till my aunt and her family went to like church revival for like the weekend. And we packed all our stuff in our car, and we left to Garden Grove. And my dad said, let's go to Riverside. We'll go live in Riverside. I don't know why he picked Riverside, but that's where we went. So we went to Riverside and got ourselves an apartment, and I started getting a babysitting job. I'm like 15 now. And, in our culture, kids don't go to school. So I was pulled out of school when my dad and my stepmother got a divorce. That's when I was pulled out of school. So that was like 11 and a half or 12. I had finished the 5th grade, and that was it. In our culture, the girls are pulled out of school early. Boys too, but girls are more important. So I got, we got to Riverside, and I started working as a babysitter, and, I cleaned houses, and I took care of my dad, and I helped, pay the bills and all of that stuff. My dad was just getting sicker. He didn't have a great heart, so, I had to take care of him. We were doing fine. We didn't necessarily leave the culture, but we weren't around our family because it was just too hurtful for us to be around them. So we stayed there for the next 2 years. Watch the next video.